Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Price List Update Summary video series brought to you by Actionable Insights. You've got Stone here, you've got Whatley there, you've got Fletcher there. In this Plus video series, we highlight the new line items that were added to the Xactimate price list every month and what's changed. So we're going to start with taking a look at the new line item that was added to the Xactimate price list in June 2025. That's right, one line item.
New line items.
Here's what we've got. MASBRKH. It's an add-on staging at high-level line item. I'm going to click for detail. We're going to take a look at this. This includes labor to stage brick at higher level. So Fletcher, you've been in construction. Tell me what you think about this line item.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's anything necessarily groundbreaking. I think the exciting thing to me ultimately is just that we have more variety now. I think it's a scenario that ultimately can come up quite often on a commercial loss or possibly high-end residential where you have multiple stories involved. And it is a situation ultimately that you do have additional labor that goes into this, and rather than having to use a labor line item, you now have something with more variety, more options.
Absolutely. I do like having a line item dedicated to that task instead of adding labor hours, and then you open yourself up to that conversation of that feels like a lot. You know, whereas where you have a dedicated line item for that add-on, I feel like it may flow more quickly towards claims resolution.
Sure.
So, good call. All right, guys. Again, that was all for the single new line item.
So it's only one line item, Stone. Let's unpack this a little bit more. When is it warranted to use it? On a single story, if you read that?
So I'm glad you actually brought that up because it does specifically say in here, note, generally a contractor will have and use standard scaffolding sections, ladders, jacks, and plank scaffolding as a part of their normal equipment tool set. And as such, the labor yield assumptions address the average time necessary for normal 1 or 2 story applications. So this add-on is for things that are above and beyond, say, a standard 2-story residential house.
Mm-hmm. So anything above 20 feet, then this line item would be warranted.
Exactly.
That's interesting. I think we could drive a rule off of this, looking at the elevation of the sketch. It wouldn't be perfect fidelity, but you do it at 130, 129 feet, anything higher than 100 and, is that right? 128 feet?
Yep,
Yeah,
with an
levels.
Xactimate sketch. Yeah.
That's something to consider. I'll let you boys toy around with it.
Absolutely. With the actionable profile, we can see your sketch settings. We can see your heights and elevations, so we can help author and provide you guidance as you are estimating on when these may or may not be warranted.
This is legacy technology, folks. We've been doing this price list update summary for a decade, and ultimately we thought it was more practical. Instead of watching hundreds of videos and trying to stitch it together, we just built it into the AI, and so now the AI guides you guys towards the warranted line items that now make it pretty damn easy to write a decent scope. You include the warranted line items, nothing more, nothing less. It's all done for you. Check out the AI. It's like definitely how everybody's going to write claims. It's just a matter of when everybody wakes 100%. Up to the reality of what we built. So
100%.
you guys will get there. There's a better way than watching this video, but anyhow, we're still doing this video, Stone. So to that end, what's the next section?
Yep. All right, that was it for the new line items. Let's check out the changes.
Checking out the changes.
All right, guys, I am going to snap the June 2025 information on the right side of my screen, and we've got the old May 2025 line items to the side. The first changes that we have are with the DMOH line items. This is the demolish and remove homes section of line items. I'm going to right click on this. I'm going to hit item edit options and view the additional item information. Take a look at this. And you will see that they've made a change with this. They have specified that it does not include any emergency fencing or utility tie-off. So if you are doing this type of work, if you're raising a home completely to the ground, you do need to add potentially concessions for temporary fencing and whatever it takes to do the utility cutoffs, whether that's water lines, gas lines, telecommunications, etc. Those are not included in these line items.
Yeah, I think there's an overarching caution that you could introduce, Fletcher, that says if you've included these line items, it may be warranted to include temporary fencing. and then you guys can decide if you want to go all the way down the abatement route or otherwise. But I think a passive caution could be a good reminder to help catch everybody up to speed about what this line item includes and doesn't include.
Yep. And this is another example on how the actionable profile guides you on changes as they occur to the price list. We let you know as you are estimating if something has changed that may or may not have been relevant before. All right, the next in the list, we have the DORX and the DORX8 line items. These have just been changed to specify that they are using hardwood casing, which makes sense for the line item descriptions, so I'm not going to go into further detail into those. What is more interesting with the WDRRDOR line item is the fact that they have specified the intent of this line item. Whatley, I will pass this one to you. You can see they've specified that this item is based on a standard sliding glass door that has one active and one fixed unit. So what do you think about that?
Well, what is omitted in the additional item information is what the hell this line item would be used for in the first place. So let's go there first.
Yep.
After a fire, when the grease in your windows, your sliding windows, your sliding doors is exposed to elevated temperatures associated with a fire, then it's often warranted to lube and recondition those sliding glass doors and windows. There's a separate line item for windows. It's very similar. It's lube/recondition window. And what this is saying is this is meant for a traditional sliding glass door, so maybe only 3.5 feet of slide, so on. And I think the idea is to not be constrained with the accordion style bifold frameless glass doors that can have 20, 30, 40 feet runs. I think that's the distinction that's happening here. So this seems like an update that bends towards the restorer to outline what this line item does and does not do. So
I agree.
That's anyhow, this is my take on that. But do keep an eye out for, if you're doing fire restoration, might be warranted to lube and recondition, or you can just forget everything I said and use the damn actionable profile. So it's rare that we talk about it this much, but I'm so confident in the product, Stone, that I'm just like, this is all silly. Just use the damn thing. You'll be better off. You can go check it out yourself for $1.62 a month. So it's we're confident enough in the product, we give it away. So you go toy around with the AI version of Xactimate, and then you decide if it sucks or not. Up to you.
It's worth every penny. You, as the estimator, you want us, the actionable profile, to remind you of this. You don't want to be at the end of a fire damage restoration project like Fletcher and I have been, and Mrs. Homeowner says, hey, this doesn't open and close the way it used to. I know my house. You want to take care of that on the front end.
No doubt.
So, good deal, guys. All right, we just have a couple of miscellaneous changes on the June 2025 price list. I'll pull this up now. We have updates to the worker wage portion of the retail labor rates for various areas in the United States and Canada.
That means prices going up?
Yep.
They're probably not going down.
A little bit of change is correct. And Minnesota sales tax jurisdictions. They've modified the applicable sales tax jurisdictions regarding some asbestos and lead testing items in the HMR category.
That's one of the most complex things the pricing department does, is reconcile all the taxes and how they apply differently state to state,
100%.
even county to county. It's a nightmare. And so much, folks, is that some aspects of what we perform in restoration, labor, material, equipment, is taxable in some regions, and some of it is not.
Right.
And the pricing department has to reconcile all that. It's a hell of a lift. Respect.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Much respect to those guys. But hey, that's it for the June 2025 price list. Let's take a look forward to the future.
Forward to the future.
All right, we've got some very interesting things coming up in July. We have add-on items for high charge when installing crown molding.
That's a good one.
Yes, yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Additional items for cornice returns and strips for wood shake shingles. I think that's great because we have some components that were a little ambiguous that you need for a shake roof system. That's going to make it more robust when you're estimating for those. Additional items for paint and shellac odor control. Additional items for detaching vanity and countertops in the WTR category.
That's good.
We have add-on items for shoring and trenching box rental. That's a good one. If you do any type of deep digging for utilities, you have to have that protective shroud.
Yep.
We have additional sizes of rain caps. We have additional items for polycarbonate ridge in the metal category. A lot of pole barn type buildings have the translucent ridge cap just to provide light inside the building. And additional items for exterior grade handrails.
Yeah, those are some great
There
ones.
you go.
I don't know if they're all going to hit next month, but that'll make up for a pretty anemic month here in June
Right.
with one line item. But there were like material changes to existing line items,
Yes.
and it's important to remember that it's not just about new line items or the deletion of old line items. Often the more impactful thing that you and I observe from a monetary perspective is adjustments to existing line items. And so we had
Yes.
plenty of that this month.
Absolutely. The pricing department listens. If there's some sort of ambiguity or confusion in a line item and that's submitted to them through direct feedback, they listen. They make changes when warranted. In this case, there were several instances where they clarified things, and that's best for everybody.
You know what? Let's throw that down in the comments down below this month for any new line items that people would like to see added to the price list. We'll advocate on behalf of our membership. So we'll put a link in there, and then you just tell us what line item you want, and then about the time that you forget about the fact that you asked for it, it might show up.
All right, guys, be sure to check us out at getinsights.org. Every single price list update summary video we have done dating back to 2020 is available on our website. Just below the video box is a list of every line item that we discuss in these, and they're hyperlinked. So if you need to send that to whoever you're sending your estimate to, you can say, hey, here's where it's discussed the changes of the new line items if you didn't know this change exists. It's a great tool to help you settle claims out there. You have that time link typer stamp that you can just drop in and say, hey, take a look at this real quick. I know you haven't seen it yet. So wherever you are watching this, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, please follow, please like, please subscribe. Until we see you next month, never stop learning and growing.
Keep building.
Stay humble.